Hi Cancer, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for February. A few of the earlier videos this month I was having a lot of technical issues. It was right around Mercury stationing to go retrograde. I think I'm past it, hopefully, cross my fingers. So if you were intending on listening to any of those videos, I am going to try to redo those once I get through the rest of the zodiac. So again, if those were one of yours, I apologize, and I do have every intention of redoing them. As well, this month, there's not going to be any mid-month readings. February is pretty booked as it is, and because of the retrograde Mercury, I kind of wanted to make some space in my schedule for the just-in-cases. So just so you guys know, this is kind of all you're going to get. However, February is a really special month, and I say that because there's so much potential in it. This is the month of the Saturn-Uranus square. This will occur 3 times in 2021, and it is a series of events that will occur within our lives this year that bring us in a new dimension of freedom. Now, the thing with Uranus is that it's not always welcomed, and it's certainly not planned, and oftentimes there's a lot of having to step out of your comfort zone. And that's going to be a big deal for Cancer in February. I think you're being asked to look at things a little bit differently, and probably from someone else's perspective. There's a big emphasis on your 8th house this month. We have the Sun, we have a Mercury going retrograde, we have Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus all active in your 8th house. Because of the retrograde Mercury, we are going through the second set of meetups with these planets, and then as it goes forward, we will revisit it again. So if you're sensing that these phases of 3 that occur throughout the year are pretty significant, and with that, our life is invited to change. Now, because this is an 8th house transit for you, making a square to your 11th house of wishes and dreams, sometimes in order to reach the highest levels, you have to see what's really deep below. That's what February is going to be about. And when you go through an 8th house transit, it's real honest. It's not easy. Honesty never is. You know, if there's areas of our lives where we've lied to ourselves or tried to overcome or ignore issues, the 8th house is what brings it all to the surface. And that's where the most healing occurs. And it's not ironic that all of this Aquarian energy is your 8th house, meaning that Cancers are kind of gifted, whether they see it or not, into the recreation. Very good at the transformation energy. You being a water sign, you are very intuitive. So I think this month you'll be sensing the change, sensing the transformation. In a lot of ways, it may not be you who's going through this stuff, but in fact and ultimately it is another person who deeply affects you. Now, the 7th house talks about partnerships and relationships, but the 8th house, there is no denying the intimacy. This is when 2 people are tied together karmically. This is not a co-worker or a casual friend. These are people that enter your life and make a significant difference. They change what you believe in. They change who you are. They change your fears. And they're meant to. We're meant to grow through this lifetime, and sometimes it's through pain, sometimes it's through loss, but it's always because of the rebirth. Now you are coming across as a page of fire this month. There's an innocence and a wanting. There's obviously a desire. Page of Wands is pretty fearless, but not in... I don't pick up, and sometimes I do, but in this I don't really pick up a real immature feeling like I would sometimes from a page. Now, I do think this indicates there's a new beginning. I'm kind of drawn to these butterflies, which tells me it's further confirmation of kind of the transformation that you're going through. And I think new ideas are being born. I think that you're open and you're curious. And the Page of Fire oftentimes has the confidence and the courage, although at times can be somewhat reckless. But this energy comes out next to the Star, and I'm also wondering if this Page of Fire isn't representing kind of the younger version of you. Maybe there's something happening now, the Star energy. This is the Aquarius energy, which is your 8th house. And maybe you are dealing with a significant relationship, and this is in your life in order to heal things that happened to you as a child, as a younger person, maybe ways in which you just thought that you were naive. And I'm just wondering if there isn't a part of Cancer that wishes that they could go back to this Page of Fire. That in spite of the disappointments and the heartaches, that in some way they can go back to a time when they didn't know that that kind of pain or loss existed. And the 8th house can talk a lot about our fears, where we put our walls up. And because retrograde Mercury is in this house, it takes you back. We're always asked to revisit our past, to look at it, to look at what was good, what did we believe in, and do those things still fit us? And every once in a while, you think back to the way that you were years ago, and it isn't something that triggers you and you say, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. I wish I would have been smarter. I wish I would have made... Sure, we always have that. But every once in a while you think of something you did or a game that you played, and you just wish you could have that back. And those are the good times, and those are the things that you want to recreate. And you are certainly in this mode of recreating. The Star card also indicates healing, and there's a lot in this reading about healing. And we have a Star card, which is a card of Aquarius, and then we have this Astrology card of Gemini, the I Think. And maybe there is a little bit of a push and pull this month between what you desire and what you know is good for you. Because as wonderful and mending as this is, the Star and the Gemini are very mental energies. And I see those mental energies being played out here with this Queen of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse is a real interesting character. And I do believe that this is your energy. And she could come out in a lot of different ways. Queen of Swords has no problem cutting people off, cutting relationships off. But oftentimes, because she is not face forward in this position, she seems to be looking back. And she's looking right here at this Two of Cups, which indicates, again, a very significant relationship. Now let's look at this for a minute. We have the World card, the Fool, the Tower, and the Judgment card. And 3 different court cards here. So there is no doubt that February will be significant. But the overall energy is that of the Seven of Cups, which means I don't think that you're going to have a lot of answers this month. I also have a feeling that it's going to be somewhat emotional, to say the least. And it's really dependent upon your level of healing. You know, when I see the Queen of Swords in reverse staring directly at this Two of Cups, I'm drawn to the image of the severing of a relationship. And I think the Queen of Swords is kind of framing this story in her mind. Like I said, this is a very mental place. This is about how you are thinking about things. And because you are in this mental place, I think your thoughts are being matched with this Ace of Cups. So maybe there's a significant relationship coming back from the past, or a significant theme that's happening again. Another situation that you find yourself in within a relationship. And I just feel like this Queen of Swords has her wall up. And it's almost as if she's looking at these two people, and she could see that they love each other. She could see that there is an equality within the match, that together they feel as if they're home. And yet there's coldness. And sometimes this happens when we don't say the things. Sometimes this happens when we're too afraid to express ourselves. And like I said, 8th house transits, it boils down to honesty. And Gemini also represents honesty and the truth. The thing is, I don't feel like there's a lot of hope coming from this Queen of Swords. I think there's a lot of faith that this Two of Cups is kind of a permanent thing, right directly on top of the World card. And I think that you know how significant the relationship is. I think you know how significant the connection is, I should say. But because the Queen of Swords is in reverse, and because she comes out right on top of the Fool card, knowing that this is a very significant card in your reading, it's kind of the thing that everything else depends on. It's when I see the Fool card and I see the Page of Fire, I feel very cardinal energy. I feel all of that Aries energy. 10th house. And there is no doubt that there is something happening, something coming back up from the past, a situation again. And I feel as though you might actually be ignoring it or not seeing things for the way that they truly are. Now, what I can't tell you for sure, which is probably the most important part of this reading, but also the purpose of the entire journey, is what the deal is with this Knight of Wands. Because in some ways, you know, when I see a Knight of Wands in reverse, oftentimes it's absolute indication to me that this is a player. This is somebody who is coming across in not such a positive way. And I think for each of you, it might be a little bit different. And that's the energy that I'm picking up from the Star card. And I think February, this first square, is kind of a test to Cancer about how much you have healed, where you are in your journey. I think for some of you, you might be ignoring the obvious. It's just kind of ignoring the red flags. If you are particularly clinging to the idea of reconciling with an ex, you want to be really careful, and you want to look at the situation very honestly this month. If the same old issues are going to creep in, if the person hasn't completely changed, if you have not healed and therefore you're not ready, then this will ultimately be a repetition or another karmic pattern. And you can keep doing this over and over and over again, but the outcome will not change until you have done the healing and until this person has done theirs. Now, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. And I think there's another situation playing out with some of you in which there's a very significant relationship in your life that you are refusing to look at, maybe out of anger, maybe out of fear, maybe out of understanding of what occurred to cause a separation in the first place. Maybe there's conversations you don't want to have. And again, you're in your head. This is where all those facts come in. And maybe you're not listening enough to your heart. And the Page of Fire is the universe asking you to start to believe in those things you really wanted. Back before the heartbreaks, back before the pain and the disappointment. And I think for some of you, the universe is telling you, take the leap of faith. Now the Knight of Cups showing up right underneath the World card. The World card and 3 Cups right here is an indication that there is a lot of love. And I think somebody wants to offer honest love to you. This Judgment card underneath the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Cups. If you are in the situation where you truly want to get back together with somebody and you know in your heart that you are ignoring the red flags, that you know that it won't work out, well, then the Judgment call is a promise that this month the karmic wheel stops. That you finally get yourself in a place where you can walk away, knowing honestly that you deserve more. But for some of you, again, it's going to be the truth of what this Knight of Wands truly is. And because he's sandwiched with that Ace of Cups, I feel maybe even this person projecting some element of not really being available or not really being emotionally evolved. And yet it looks as though they are. And I just feel like the Tower underneath this Fool card is a promise that whatever you are ignoring, either way, the truth will be revealed. The conversations will be had. This crescent moon, it speaks to me about possibility. The waves kind of crashing very high, tumultuous water. You may find yourself back and forth with your emotions this month, causing you the confusion. Now maybe you are dating other people, maybe you are looking at other opportunities, maybe you're just not quite sure what you want in life yet. Maybe there are some decisions that still need to be made so that you can know how this all will unfold. Ironically enough, these are the two cards of Pisces. The Hangman also indicating a period of stagnation. And the Queen of Cups. I think this 8th house transit for the rest of the year is going to be a deep emotional dive into getting to know yourself at the very least. And I also think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity headed your way if you are open to it. Oftentimes these bring us very significant relationships, very significant periods within our relationships. And the two oracle cards you got this month was card number 52, Mending. And oftentimes couples try to get back together and are just happy to be together. Maybe it's hard or maybe it's awkward to have those conversations like, yeah, but I was really hurt when this happened, or I'm not sure that we could take this any further because of this thing. Relationships are complicated, and when two people, two adults with their own separate lives, try to come together and put lives together, things get really complicated. And sometimes you could tell yourself that you're happy in that situation, that that's all that you need, want at this time. But when there are emotions, eventually they creep in. The bottom of the deck was card number 10, Unfinished Symphony, same as the World card. This is the karmic wheel. Whatever it is, or whatever this relationship or connection is meant to be or do in your life, there is unfinished business. Now, for some of you, that will be knowing your worth and standing up for yourself and choosing something better, choosing to love yourself. But for those of you that are fighting to take down walls and believe in love and allow someone to integrate within your life, the Unfinished Symphony is the universe asking you to look at this again. Either way, it will not serve you to go and stay in a place of fear this month, Cancer. I think that there might be an overwhelming theme for the entire year of you having to confront certain relationships within your life. How you treat them, how you treat yourself within them. And I think that Cancer is really changing the dynamics. And I think that because you've gone through all of these transformations and all through 2020, and things have changed your perspective. Things are changing around you, and everyone has to adapt. And I just feel like everybody's starting to get into their places. And I think that's what 2021 really is all about. I think the people that are in the wrong relationships will ultimately have the courage to end them. And I think that the people that are in the right ones can finally do the things that they need to allow those things in your life. The healing that we have to do around the idea of receiving love and being loved, trusting others. It's a special time, and it's a special month, and it's a special year. And I think for Cancer, there might be a lot of very, very sweet surprises in store for you. All right, Cancer, I do hope that you have a wonderful February and a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks. Bye.